I wore many masks myself, and I've been through a lot of shifts in life through relationships, through career changes. It's lonely, it's painful, it's harsh. You feel like you're being thrown up against a wall and cornered so many times because you have to face yourself, where no matter what you learn about the outside world, once you have a spiritual awakening, there's a reflection between the internal yourself and the external. I've had to re-register my belief system. It's like you're filling out an application for something new that you didn't think, I don't even know if I would ever step foot in this direction before. Being so open-minded and so open-hearted that you find yourself in spaces you never thought you would be in. Because time isn't linear, I've gone back to the lessons that I've had over and over again, because all of a sudden, as we grow and as time passes, we have another realization hit, and then we have to readjust our thinking or our awareness so we can better our habits and align our daily lives through the practice of the knowing. We have to just muster up some courage and just know that one foot in front of the other, one step at a time.
Hey everyone, it's Sophia from Sacred You. Thank you so much for being here. A quick message before we dive into today's conversation. You may have been watching the podcast videos but have not had a chance to hit that subscribe button. So if you have ever gained value from our videos, from our conversations, it would mean so much to us if you would hit that subscribe button below right now, or even just give us a like. And what that means is not only does it allow us to grow our subscriber base, but it allows us to bring in more important guests for you to listen to. And you will be one of the first ones to be notified. So please hit that subscribe button and let's get started on today's conversation. Welcome to the Pathways to Wellbeing podcast. My name's Sophia from Sacred You. More importantly, I have a very special guest, Samantha Kane, who's joining us. Welcome, Samantha. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here, Sophia.
Yes, I'm really excited to get to know more about you and to really talk about people who feel so lost on our path and how we can redirect, especially people who are on a spiritual path, especially. So, Samantha, you're a certified holistic life coach and founder of the Roots Wing Wellness, which I definitely want to know more about. And you guide conscious souls to reconnect with their higher self and live authentic lives, which is so big in today's world. We have a lot of having masks. We're living with masks, so many masks, and we're really not feeling authentic. Can you start, Samantha? Tell us about you, your beautiful self, and what first led you to explore this path?
Thank you for that introduction. Yes, so I wore many masks myself, and I've been through a lot of shifts in life through relationships, through career changes, everything from teaching to construction, restaurants, mergers and acquisitions, big business, swimming with the sharks. Worked in Beverly Hills, and then I've also worked at a flower shop. I worked at a psychic bookshop. I was a teacher and so many other things. But I've now landed myself here in this space of life coaching, and I call it conscious guidance because that just seems to suit what I do best, in my opinion. And I'm here to help people feel into their own lives so that they can design their pathway themselves in whatever unique way fits best for them. Because a lot of what society tells us to do is to fit in a certain box and to be a certain way and to look a certain way and to feel a certain way. And we get very far away from our authentic, vulnerable state of being in presence.
Mm.
And so I help people, I help parents, I help men and women. A lot of people are in this space that just serve one gender, but I've been blessed with working with men and women to help them return back home to themselves, the space where they feel more aligned and not only more connected to themselves, most importantly, but in turn, in doing that, they feel more connected to the external world.
Yes, which is a big thing. So much we get caught up in technology and all the distractions that we disconnect from ourselves and disconnect from everything else around us in a physical way. And I'd love to know, especially for people on a spiritual journey, I understand so many people in the world, especially if I can say those who are in corporate work, especially those, but a lot of other people, they're just feeling lost. But for someone on a spiritual journey, they have a recognition of who they are. But why, in your experience, why is that so common for people on a spiritual journey to still feel lost? And why is it so painful for them?
It's so painful. It's exactly that, exactly as you say. It's lonely, it's painful, it's harsh. You feel like you're being thrown up against a wall and cornered so many times because you have to face yourself.
Yes.
And that's the hard part. That's the piece where no matter what you learn about the outside world, about the true ways of the world, once you have a dark night of the soul, once you have a spiritual awakening, or some might call it a kundalini, or whatever word you want to impose into it, there's a reflection between the internal yourself and the external. And it looks so differently when you're not being true to who you are. So the spiritual path, to me, and in my experience, is something that was wrought with pain because once I did have an awakening and once I did learn about what the world really is, bad and good and everything in between, I learned more about myself and I learned more about who I was being in this world. Not so much what I was doing, but who I am being. That's been a big part of what I guide in and what I philosophize for myself. Everything that I help guide other people in, I've been through myself or am still currently going through because we're always a work in progress, right? So we can never say, I had my awakening, period. No, I had my awakening and I'm still transforming, right? Because there's so many different layers to this whole thing. So it's painful, but it's also beautiful. So we can say both because duality, because you can see the beauty in something as much as you can see the pain or vice versa. But you can't have the dark without the light, and you can't have the light without the dark. They just go together, they coincide. So, how do we live through this at the same time, simultaneously? And that is the hard pill to swallow. But I believe that if we don't go through it, then we miss out on so many opportunities in life. We miss out on the invitation to higher presence, to gifts. We don't get to tap online to our higher potential. And so that's what I really love to try to help people to do because I'm constantly, daily, for years and years, doing this for myself. And I know the beauty in it. And I want to share that with people. I want everyone to have that. But we do have to go through the tricky parts and the dark parts a little bit in this flow. There's no map to it, right? There's no playbook. You just have to find the courage to get in there, get into the nitty gritty, and let yourself be in it and be present with it. And whatever transpires, whatever comes out of it, whatever you learn about yourself, you're going to be okay, because we all always are. We just have to allow it to happen.
Absolutely, and thank you for sharing that. I totally agree. And there certainly isn't a playbook or a step-by-step guide to life. It would be nice if it was. It would be nice if we came with a plan, follow this plan and you'll be fine. But no, it's definitely all about living and going through, as you said, the dark stuff, because that is where the real transformation happens.
Yes.
So many people, when you go through, if I can say, the shit, they think that they're failing, but it's actually transforming. Tell us about your experience with that. How have you taken that dark stuff and really helped empower yourself with it?
In many ways, I've done this, and in many ways, I'm still doing this. And in many ways, I know that I will always go through this, because I'm someone that believes in growth, in self empowerment, and self evolution almost more than I believe in anything else. That's how purposeful this is, that how meaningful it is to me. But what I've done is, once I've had the realizations that I've gone through, where it's like something just snaps your neck to look a different direction, and you're like, ah, I didn't view that way before. Okay, my mind wasn't open to that way. I've had to re-register my belief system. I've had to apply towards these. It's like it's like you're filling out an application for something new that you didn't think, I don't even know if I would ever step foot in this direction before. It's being so open-minded and so open-hearted that you find yourself in spaces you never thought you would be in. That's part of the awakening journey. And for me personally, when I was in these dark spaces and I was going through all the emotions many times over, through anger, through resentment, through breaking through my ego, which is a forever thing. I hope people know that. It's not just oh, I'm done, I'm better now. No, it's a continuous effort, right? We always relive things because time isn't linear. So this is the thing. And when I say playbook, I mean, there really is no such thing. Because time isn't linear, I've gone back to the lessons that I've had over and over again, because all of a sudden, as we grow and as time passes, we have another realization hit, and then we have to readjust our thinking or our awareness so we can better our habits and align our daily lives through the practice of the knowing. But back to me personally, to answer your question, I've gone through many habits that I've had to change myself. I've gone through ways of pace, slowing myself down, coming out of hustle culture, learning that I can still hustle in a sense and get things done, but that looks much differently now. I can go at a slower pace. I can speak more honorably and more respectfully with other people. I can be more mindful about the words I choose to think about, speak about. I can be more mindful of my actions. There are so many things. The list goes on and on. But I had to face myself time and time again, and continually so, to rid of all the spaces that no longer aligned with me, that didn't agree with me anymore, so that I could create space for the things that do make sense now. And we're always doing this. It's practice over perfection,
Yes.
and it's calm and peace over steadfast, what's the word, deadline. Because as you and I just spoke a few minutes ago, we were talking about divine timing. And I believe, and I feel like you believe too, I don't want to speak for you, but I think we just agreed on the divine timing of the world. That's just how things are. And even though oftentimes things seem unfair or unjust or unright, whether it be with ourselves or the world around us, I believe that there are higher reasons for all these events and ways of our own personality and all the layers. I believe that there's a deeper, higher meaning behind all of it. And sometimes it's frustrating because we just can't see it all. And that's the purpose, is to learn more about ourselves so that we can align more and actually live a vibrant life and thrive, not just survive.
Absolutely, and thank you. Totally agree with you, Samantha, that yes, everything does happen for a reason. Everything happens when it's meant to. That wherever it is, whatever it is in, whatever area it is, all in divine timing. And I know quite a lot of people, myself included, at various different times we've wanted to control things, that this has to happen now. But when we let go and let God, as they say, if you believe in God or the universe or whatever, then everything happens in a much more easier and flowing way. Thank you. Can I just take a moment just to honor you for bringing your presence to our podcast, to Sacred You, but also to the world, because you are, I would say, a living example of someone who does work on themselves. You're not a person who will who will just talk to people, tell people what to do, but yet you do something else. You are a living example of that. So thank you.
Thank you. That was very kind. I appreciate that. It was so unexpected. If I can interject for one moment, I don't know if you had something else to say, but I just have to say, you just reminded me, I was driving in the car in the last day or so, and I had this epiphany on exactly what you said, on something about the unexpected. The most profound moments in life are when you're driving through, well, not literally driving, I was literally driving, but figuratively driving through life, going through life, and you're not expecting. We expect so much. We want deliverables, right? Literally, we like the online, everything's Amazon delivery and food delivery. And then the expectations of your friendship and your romantic partnership and a business partnership and all these things, all these expectations. But I was simply and peacefully driving recently, and I was in a very calm, peaceful state, my favorite state of being, where I was just noticing everything, noticing nature, noticing the sky, noticing my senses, noticing how I felt in my body, noticing my breathing, noticing my posture. And I wasn't thinking about anything else, and I had no music on, and I had nothing else inspiring me. It was just this. And it just hit me like a flash of inspiration from source, that it's not about the expected, it's about the unexpected. And I just felt an overwhelming sense of all the cells of my being just being raised in the highest vibration, because it was like I connected to this aha moment of, yes, this is exactly what life is. This is the feeling that we're all supposed to feel. And that's why it's such a delicate dance between ego and spirit, and how we can relay more understanding with our ego, because I think a lot of people hear that word and they think it's a bad thing, but it's not a bad thing. It's just a part of us that we need to understand deeper and what to do with it. And then the spirit, where of course we always want to reside, but that's not realistic because we're human. So when we get the invitation to visit a higher feeling, that higher frequency, that higher energy, where we're really just feeling so right and light in our bodies and in our mind, and we feel very connected, those are usually moments of the unexpected. We didn't expect that. We're not saying, like you said before, now, I want this now. It's not performative. It just is. It's like the unfolding because it's a becoming. And when we're in this space, when we are able to tap into this as much as we can, it's just such a beautiful place to be. So you just reminded me of that. And thank you so much, because sometimes I have these epiphanies, and if I don't write them down, they just go out my mind, forget it, they're gone. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And it's so very true. It just really is. It's like allowing ourselves to be in that space and allowing that space to unfold naturally. And Samantha, can I ask, in your work and also in your personal experience too, if you'd like to share, if you have any clients or if there's anyone out there who is listening or watching our podcast and they're feeling a bit lost, they really don't know where to go on their pathway. Do you have any tools or techniques on where can we start? What can we do to start to find
Yes.
our way back?
Yes, thank you. And you're right. A lot of people are lost. And even those of us that are on this spiritual quest, we get lost too. So let's not get it twisted too far. For even us, we go through these struggles too. You never just find yourself and that's it. Continual work in progress. And so I put together a guide. I really took my time on this. I put my heart in this. It's The Art of Non-Conformity, 5 Powerful Tips to Break Free and Live Authentically. And these tips break it down. They're not only things to ponder, but they're actionable tools to utilize, broken down in 5 pieces. And you can find this on my website, but they're helpful. There are things I've done myself. There are things I continually do myself. And I just hope that anybody listening would understand, or at least just remember that we have moments of being lost, but that doesn't mean that this is where we stay. Because sometimes it feels very disenchanting and disheartening and so uncomfortable when we just don't know what's going on and we feel so stuck. But I would say the most important thing to remind ourselves, like loop back somewhere else. Don't loop back to the stuck, but get out of that and just turn your head and look a little bit differently, just at a different angle, so you can remember and remind yourself that we are not that. That's just a moment. We'll come back to it. We'll circle back to feeling lost because we always do. This ebb and flow business, we're up and down, but we can get ourselves out of it. But it does help to have community. Thank you, Sophia, for building community. For what you do is so essential to this world, helping people connect because people feel so disconnected. And that's all of us feel disconnected in certain moments, every single person. There's no way out of that. But when you can remind yourself that, no, I have one friend at the very least, or I know that one person that's open to speaking with me on a sour moment or a bad day, there's always something or someone to help us. And it is nice to have tools to utilize and to practice. I'm personally very big on incorporating tools in my life that make sense for me. Something that I share might make sense for this person and not for that person. So it's like in my coaching, I offer a structure program, but then I also highly curate what I do because everybody's different. There's no individual is the same. So in our uniqueness, what's going to align with us, and also what are we really going to do? Because we can read all day long about all these tools, right? We can look it up on the internet even. We can read everything we want, but are we going to incorporate it into our lives? And then are we going to integrate it into real habit, into ritual, where we're repeatedly, consistently working these into our lives and creating a more balanced well-being for ourselves.
Thank you for sharing that and explaining it. It is all about the integration of everything to realize that it's just step by step. And what about for someone who is still feeling confused? Is there a difference in your experience that they're just not sure? Like they're on that, they're being redirected, or they're actually avoiding. There's a fear and avoidance, there's a fear there of something. Can you see that? Is there a difference between, I don't know, redirection and fear-based avoidance?
Great question. Thank you. This helps lead me into a couple things. It's very integral to learn where you are in your journey before you even embark on looking at, let's say, one tool of anything from anyone. Let's say you want to incorporate more meditation, but for some reason you're stagnant. It's you turn the TV on and there's no channel, or back in the old days when it was just static on the TV. That's how you are. That's how your energy is. For some reason, you think about it, you want to do it, but you're just not doing it. What is this space that's holding you from, like, why can't you get around from here to let's meditate? And you can use this for any example. I just chose meditation. It could be working out, or it could be eating healthier, or speaking nicer to people, whatever, insert your problem here. So the question would be to yourself, am I avoiding? And if so, why? Is this just pure laziness? Is there a way that I did this thing that I want to do before that is no longer going to fit with me and who I am now? And those, I think, would be the way to shape how you want to formulate where you're going to go and how to get there. It's like we have to build a mindset a little bit stronger than from just the get-go. You can't just, I used this example the other day with someone where a family member of mine got up from a chair that he was in for a long time, and then he just started walking really fast. And he's someone with a health condition. And so I said, maybe we should slow and phase ourselves into this process, right? Because you're not so used to this. You've done it before in your life, but still we are who we are now. And so we need to do this a little differently. Let's ease ourselves in. And some people they just go, they either do one of two things. They just, for some reason, it's like they're frozen, and maybe it's flight, or sometimes I say this wrong, fight or flight. I always want to say fright for some reason, because it's like frightening, I guess, would be the feeling behind feeling frozen. Sometimes we think we're lazy and it's really not laziness at all, and we're not giving ourselves grace. Sometimes it's something else, and it's a very real issue that we haven't looked at either at all or not enough. And again, that's in facing yourself and seeing the why behind the reasoning between the space of where we are and where we want to be. So avoidance is definitely something that we do a lot. And we also, lastly, we get very comfortable. We get very stagnant because we're so comfortable with being and acting in accordance with something that we just know, something that's familiar.
Yes.
And if we're not willing to be brave and do something differently, they say if you want something different, then you have to, or if you want change, you have to do something different. And that really is true. And it doesn't mean you have to be different. You're still this same person, but maybe it's going to look, maybe you're going to do this through a different lens, just a little bit. So looking at the reasoning behind the space that we're trying to get through and permeate is very helpful. And it's also doable. really lastly, I just want to say that anybody in any issue can always get through spaces, because I always love the word through. When we feel stuck or stagnant or confused or lost, we always tend to think that we're standing in front of a stop sign and that's it. Can't pass it. Not stop and go after, just stop. Don't do anything, just stay right here. But that's not true, is it? We have to just muster up some courage and just know that, like you said, one foot in front of the other, one step at a time. And it really is. We can't overwhelm ourselves looking at what is this going to look like in the end? And how long is this going to be? How do I know when I'm going to be there? And who will I be? We can't worry ourselves with that stuff. We just have to make moves through making the next move. That's it. Just start in one little step
One little step, that's all it takes.
and then keep going.
And keep going. That's it. Just do it. What about for someone who's really feeling shame for not having figured it out? People on a spiritual journey, there's a lot of connotations, there's a lot of thought around people who are on a spiritual journey have already figured it out, know their path, know what they're going to be doing, have their purpose. But what advice would you give to someone who's questioning everything and feeling very shameful for not knowing what their purpose is, for not having figured it out?
I'd say to allow yourself to have more grace. And in order to release the pressure that you're feeling, you have to let go.
Yeah.
You just have to let go. Whatever it is, whatever you think about yourself, you're probably wrong. Whatever you think about someone else, that's probably wrong too. None of it matters. We put too much pressure and too much emphasis and too much seriousness on all things so much of the time. And when we do this, we hold so much tension in our bodies. There's a reason that we all need massages over the course of our life. There's a reason that we need to heal. There's a reason that we all should meditate. There's a reason that we should put thought to pen and journal. There's a reason for all these practices in the well-being space. And the reason is because we have to get it out. The energy has to come out, the words have to come out, the feelings have to come out. Everything has to come out. If we keep everything so tightly wound, this is why we have the stress and the anxiety and the emotional roller coaster, and we're so dysregulated all the time. But we have to bring it down to the basics. And this is what I do with my clients. I take it back down. I peel the layers, just bring it back down to where it's very simple and where anything, any preconceived notions, we just let fall to the wayside. So we can just allow a sense of being that and that alone, nothing else. And then we can build on that. But you can't build anything until you let go of the things that need letting go, whatever that means for you.
And that is very true. Sometimes we have whatever fear in us that we can't, or we're not ready to let go. We've got to hold on to this identity, this belief, this whatever it is, because we don't know what's going to come afterwards. We don't have anything afterwards, but we won't know until we let go.
And that's anxiety when we don't know what's coming after. We are nervous about the future, but we don't need to concern ourselves with the future. The only, personally, I don't think very much about the past, and I don't think very much about the future. I just don't. I've trained myself this way. I've reprogrammed myself this way. Why? Because I always was the opposite. I always worried so much about, oh no, I shouldn't have said that. Yeah, I still, once in a while, something will pop in and I'll say, oh, I could have done that better. I could have said that better. But I don't connect it with shame. I don't connect it with guilt. I
Yes.
don't connect it with too much worry. I think a thought and I let it pass. I
Mm.
do something I'm not super proud of and I let it pass. That's practice to get here. And I'm nowhere near where I would like to be. It's continual, like I say, but this is the work so
It's a-
that we don't have to carry these emotions around like luggage.
mm.
Because think about it, as time passes, all the snowball effect of all the things we're carrying. Can you imagine if every event was a backpack
Mhm.
and we're just carrying backpack? It's like we're on the floor. We've flatlined
Yeah,
because you can't even see how high. It's like the princess and the pea. As high as all the mattresses are, that's how high your backpacks are of emotions. And we
absolutely.
want to get out of that.
Yep, just let it go. We really can let it go. And I'd love to talk to you more about the process of letting all that go in another podcast. So please do come back. Let's have another conversation.
Oh, I would love to.
Before we
Thank
go, I'd love to ask you is if you, Samantha, could go back and whisper one message to your younger self, your adolescent self, what would that be?
you. I love this question. Thank you. Don't worry yourself. All is well.
Nice.
That's it.
That's it.
Nothing more, nothing less. All is well says so much to any situation. I feel like it's a mantra and a affirmation that we should all get ourselves familiar with if we're not already. All is well can bring all the peace that you need in any given situation, in any moment. That's the answer.
Absolutely. And it's so very true. It really is. We tend to worry about everything. But imagine what the world would be like, what everyone else in the world would be like if we could at least let go of the worries and knowing that everything is taken care of. And
Yes.
everything is well, even if it doesn't seem to be that in that situation. In a few months in the future, we look back and we go, yes, now I know why that happened because I had to learn whatever lesson it was. So thank you for sharing that. And before we go, is there any other questions that I could have asked you? And
Yeah.
how would you answer? We will be putting all your links. Do you want to share anything more about your business and how you actually help people through their coaching? What can someone expect?
I could speak in a little bit more detail
Mm.
about what I do and just to share a little bit more specifically. I'm always happy to share anything about my life personally, too, if there was any questions in a specific topic. I feel like I've had a lot of life experience that's led me here. Because I often say that it's not just I got a certification in life coaching. It's my life experience that means so much more and that's way more expansive and relays and resonates with people way more than what I've learned in textbook kind of thing. I'd love to share any of that anytime.
Yeah, whenever you wish to, please do come back. Please do.
Thank you.
Back and for everyone out there who is watching or listening, do click on the links below and reach out to Samantha, even if it's just for a conversation, and also for your gift that people can have, your free guide that you did mention, The Art
Yes.
of Non-Conformity, 5 powerful tips to break free and live authentically. Love that.
Yes, and they can get that on the website. It's an instant download.
Yeah. So thank you. I will be having a look at that. It has been a joy speaking to you, Samantha. It really has been. I love your authenticity. I love that you embody what you talk about, what you teach, what you help others with. And I said, I'm very honored to have you on the pathways to well-being. So thank you.
Thank you. You're amazing. You have such good energy.
You too. Ditto. Even though we're on the other side of the world. Ditto. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You take care.
You too.
Appreciate you.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us today and tuning into our conversation with Samantha, who shared her journey about trusting life and all the detours that it brings. If Samantha's story has resonated with you and you would like a little guidance on your own spiritual path, we invite you to take the next steps. Reach out to Samantha on the links below, especially for her free download on the 5 powerful tips to break free. And also for more empowering conversations, tools, and strategies, follow Sacred You on all our social media or visit our website at www.sacredyou, that's the letter U, .love. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so that you never miss another episode. In Samantha's own words, don't worry yourself. All is well. Stay grounded, stay inspired, stay connected, and until next time, keep walking your pathway to well-being.